I never thought a single night could tear my whole life apart, but the moment it happened, I felt something inside me break open like a wound I couldn't close. I sat alone in the living room, rolling my wedding ring between my fingers, while trying to remind myself that I still had a home, a wife, and a future I believed was safe. "Lena," I called out softly, hoping she would answer with the warm tone that used to make me stop whatever I was doing just to listen. But the house stayed still, and the silence wrapped around me like a warning I didn't want to understand. I stood up from the couch and walked toward the stairs, calling her name again, but the sound that answered wasn't hers at all. It was a man's voice, low and smooth. My chest tightened as I froze on the step and heard Lena whisper his name with a softness she had not used with me in months. "Evan, don't say that," she murmured, and I felt the floor tilt under me. I moved closer, each step shaking more than the last, and pressed my ear against the bedroom door, even though a part of me already knew the truth, waiting on the other side. "You always knew how to make me feel wanted," Lena whispered. And hearing those words felt like someone pushed a blade straight through me. Evan chuckled, sounding so confident it made me sick, and said, "Maybe that's because you never stopped wanting me." Something inside me snapped, and I pushed the door open with a force I didn't know I had. They jumped apart. But not out of guilt, more out of annoyance that I had interrupted something they were too comfortable doing. "Lena," I whispered, "tell me I'm not seeing this." She crossed her arms like she was the one hurt and said, "Adrian, you weren't supposed to walk in right now." "Right now?" I stepped closer, my voice shaking. "So another time would have been better for you?" Evan leaned back with that arrogant smirk and said, "Ease up, man. She just needed someone who listens." I glared at him and said, "Get out of my house before I make you." He raised his hands like he was the calm one and said, "Relax. She called me here." I looked at Lena, praying she would deny it, but she only sighed and said, "I just needed to talk to someone who understands me." "I'm your husband," I said, feeling my voice break. "Why wasn't that enough for you?" She looked away and whispered, "I don't know anymore." Her answer didn't just hurt, it destroyed something I had fought to protect for years. I stepped back from her and said, "Then maybe I don't know who I am to you anymore." She reached for me, but I moved away, feeling the weight of betrayal wrap around me like chains I couldn't break. I looked at her one last time and said, "You made your choice the moment you let him in." And with every part of me shaking, I walked out of the room, leaving behind the life I thought was unbreakable. Down the hallway, I heard Lena calling my name, but I didn't stop, because if I did, I knew I would break down right there on the floor. "Adrian, please," she cried, but her voice felt distant, like it was coming from a world I no longer belonged to. I reached the bottom of the stairs and whispered to myself, "How did we get here? How did love turn into this?" I waited for her to follow me, to explain something that could make the pain feel lighter. But the only footsteps I heard were my own as I walked toward the front door. When I grabbed the doorknob, I heard her whisper behind me, "Please don't leave," and for a second, my hand froze. But then I remembered the way she said Evan's name, and that memory pushed me forward like a force I couldn't fight. I opened the door, stepped outside, let the cold air hit me as I tried to breathe again slowly. "Lena, we need to talk," I said, my voice trembling as I closed the door behind us. The silence in the living room felt sharp, like it could slice through my chest. Evan leaned against the wall with that smug grin. I tried not to let it break me. "Say something," I whispered. Forcing myself to look at Lena, she sat on the edge of the couch, fingers twisting together. "Adrian, I didn't mean for you to see that," she muttered. "Then why did it happen?" I asked. "Why was he here? Why were you holding him like that?" She didn't answer immediately. Evan chuckled softly and my fists tightened. "Don't look at him," I said. "Talk to me, Lena." She finally lifted her eyes, but they darted away again. "I felt lonely," she whispered. "You've been distant for months. Lonely," I repeated. "I was right here for you." "You changed," she said, and the words hit me like a slap. "I changed?" I stepped closer. "Tell me how. Tell me what I did that pushed you back into his arms." Evan smirked again, and I shot him a glare. "Stay out of this," I warned. Do it now. Evan shrugged. She came to me, he said. Maybe that tells you enough. Shut up, I snapped. I'm not speaking to you. Turned back to Lena. Just be honest with me. Did you want him back? She shook her head quickly. No. I was confused about everything. Confused, I repeated, rubbing my temples. Lena, do you even understand what this feels like? She swallowed hard. I didn't plan it. You didn't stop it either, I said. Evan let out another low laugh, and I turned toward him. Do you enjoy this right now, you arrogant little man? Evan spread his hands. I enjoy the truth. I felt rage crawl under my skin, but I forced myself to breathe. Lena, look at me, I said again. She finally met my eyes. Do you want to fix this? Do you want our marriage? She hesitated, her lips trembling slightly. Adrian. I don't know, she whispered, and those 4 words crushed something inside me. You don't know? Asked. I'm your husband. She stared at the floor. I didn't expect him to come. When he did, everything felt messy. Messy, I said. You call this messy because it destroys lives? She flinched. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, I said. And now I'm standing here begging you to choose me. Evan leaned forward. Maybe she already did. What? This is between us. Lena's eyes filled with tears, but she still said nothing more. Lena, I whispered, my voice cracking. Please say something, anything. She shook her head. I'm scared, she said. Scared of what? Scared of choosing wrong? I felt something inside me collapse. If choosing me feels wrong, I said, then maybe I've already lost you tonight in this painful broken moment. She covered her face. I didn't want this. But you let it happen, I replied. Evan exhaled loudly, bored. Can I leave? He asked. Get out, I said, pointing at the door. He shrugged and walked away, footsteps fading. The room felt colder without his arrogance, but the pain remained. Lena, I said softly, I need you to be honest with me now. Do you want us? She wiped her cheeks. I want to understand myself first. And what am I supposed to do? Give me time, she whispered. Her words felt like a slow blade sliding into my chest. I stood there, breathing hard, trying to hold myself together. Time, I repeated, tasting the bitterness of it. How much time do you need to decide if I matter? She looked down again, and that silence was louder than any confession. I can't answer tonight, she murmured. Everything feels blurred. I laughed weakly. Blurred for you, broken for me. I stepped toward the door, my hands shaking. If you want me, you'll come find me. If not, my voice cracked. Then this is where we end, Lena. I walked out, unsure if I was saving us or saving myself now. When I stepped into Marcus's apartment, he took one look at my face and asked, What the hell happened to you? I couldn't speak at first. My throat felt tight, and the weight in my chest refused to lift. It's Lena, I finally said. I caught her. With Evan, his eyes widened, then darkened instantly. Tell me everything, and don't sugarcoat a thing. I sank onto his couch and rubbed my face. They were holding each other. She didn't even look sorry. She just stared at me like she didn't know who I was anymore. Marcus paced in front of me. That bastard, he growled. And Lena? What did she say? Excuses, I muttered. Loneliness, confusion, nothing real. He stopped pacing and knelt in front of me. Say it straight. Do you think she's in love with him again? I shook my head slowly. I don't know. That's what scares me. Adrian, he said, gripping my shoulder. You didn't deserve this. You've given her everything. I looked at him, my voice cracking. Why wasn't that enough? He sighed heavily. Because some people mistake comfort for boredom. Doesn't mean you failed. I let out a shaky breath. I still feel like I did, before Marcus could respond. There was a soft knock on the door. Who's that? He muttered. When he opened it, Emily stepped inside, her eyes red and guilty. I stiffened immediately. Why are you here? I asked. She clasped her hands nervously. I came because I need to tell you something. Marcus crossed his arms. This better be good. Emily looked at me. Adrian, I'm so sorry. I knew Lena still talked to Evan. I told her it was a bad idea. I told her she was risking everything, but she didn't listen. My stomach twisted painfully. So you knew, I whispered. You knew and didn't tell me? I wanted to, she said, tears gathering in her eyes. But she begged me not to. She said it was just friendly talking, nothing serious. I believed her, but when she told me last week that she felt drawn to him again, I panicked. Drawn to him? She nodded. I thought she'd snap out of it. I didn't think she'd actually hurt you like this. Marcus stepped forward, voice sharp. You should have told him. Loyalty doesn't mean covering for betrayal. Emily looked at him helplessly. I know, that's why I'm here. I need Adrian to know I'm not taking her side. She crossed a line I can't defend. I stared at her, my voice quiet. Do you think she loves him? Emily swallowed hard. I think she's confused and selfish right now. But love? I don't know. I leaned back, feeling the world tilt again. That doesn't help, I whispered. I know, she murmured. But I won't lie to you. Marcus sat beside me. You don't owe her patience, Adrian. Not after this. Emily nodded slowly. He's right. Whatever you decide, don't choose pain just because you're scared to let go. I closed my eyes. Why does letting go feel harder than staying? Emily stepped closer. Because you loved her honestly. She didn't. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Claire's name appeared on the screen. I answered, my voice rough. Hey, where are you? She asked. I'm coming over. 30 minutes later, she walked into Marcus's apartment like a storm, hair tied up, expression fierce. Okay, she said, standing in front of me. Tell me what happened. I repeated the story, every ugly detail. Claire's jaw tightened with each word. Unbelievable, she muttered. You spent 5 years giving her stability, and she threw it away for nostalgia and stupidity. I sighed. Claire, no, she cut in. Listen to me. Don't lose yourself because of someone who couldn't see your worth. You're my brother. You're not broken. She is. Emily looked away, guilt still heavy. Marcus nodded firmly. Claire's right, I rubbed my chest. Then why do I still feel like I'm the one who's failing? Claire sat beside me. Because you're kind. Because you love deeply. But love doesn't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. I stared at the floor, letting their words sink in. I don't know what to do next, I said quietly. Marcus leaned forward. Then start small. Breathe. Rest. Think. Don't chase someone who walked away. Emily added softly, and don't blame yourself for choices you didn't make. Claire took my hand. We're here. We're not going anywhere. For the first time since that night, my chest loosened slightly. Their voices didn't erase the pain, but they kept me from drowning in it. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the hurt, a new fire began to burn, one made of clarity instead of fear. I finally whispered, maybe it's time I stop living in denial. I was scrolling through my phone late at night when a notification popped up from Emily. I opened it without thinking, expecting a text, but instead there was a voice note. Curiosity made me tap play. Lena's voice filled the room. Evan makes me feel alive. She laughed softly, like it was the funniest thing in the world. My stomach dropped. My hands trembled. She continued, her tone casual, almost teasing. Adrian's too soft to ever leave. I can do whatever I want, and he'll still wait. I froze. The words burned through me like acid. My chest tightened, and a strange emptiness spread inside me. I pressed pause. My mind screamed, but my lips barely moved. How? How could she? I whispered. The laughter in her voice replayed in my head. I felt something shift to coldness, replacing the ache that had consumed me before. Love, that foolish, blind love, was turning into something harder, sharper. I had tried to forgive, to hold on, but this was different. I grabbed my jacket and walked out of my apartment. I needed to confront her, to hear it directly from her mouth that this was real. Every step toward her place made my hands shake more. I knocked on the door, loud and deliberate. No soft entry, no hesitation. Adrian. Lena's voice sounded uncertain when she opened the door. Why are you? I held up my phone, letting her see the screen. Listen. Her eyes widened, and she froze. I pressed play. Her voice spilled into the room again. Evan makes me feel alive. Adrian's too soft to leave. I can do whatever I want. The pause between the notes hung heavy. Lena's mouth opened, closed, then trembled. Adrian, it's not what you think. I didn't mean for you to hear that. It was meant for Emily, I said slowly, voice low, measured. Funny, casual, teasing, about me. She stepped closer, reaching out. Adrian, please. I can explain. Stepped back, holding up a hand. No, I heard enough. My chest burned, but the new cold clarity kept my voice steady. Do you realize what this does to someone? To me? To us? Her eyes glistened. I love you. I just love me. I laughed, bitter and hollow. You call this love? Talking about how alive someone else makes you, laughing about how soft I am, as if my heart is yours to toy with. I was confused, she whispered, finally looking down. I didn't want to hurt you. You didn't want to hurt me, but you did.
Were?
Right now. My voice rose, not in anger but in quiet force, the kind that doesn't beg anymore. Every word you just spoke proves what I've been feeling. I can fix this, she said, desperation creeping into her tone. I can choose you. I know, I said firmly, shaking my head. Not this time. I've held on too long, forgiven too much. I tried to save us, while you were busy saving yourself, thinking about him. Not once, not ever, have I felt like I mattered more than your whims. Her lips quivered. Adrian, please don't leave. I took a deep breath. I already am. I pressed the home button on my phone, letting the voice note play one more time. Just so she could hear it again, her own laughter echoing in the room. She looked stunned, speechless. For the first time, I felt the full weight of my decision settle in. The hurt was still there, raw and heavy. But beneath it, I felt power. Power to step away. Power to reclaim myself. I'm done, I said simply. My voice calm now, even. I loved you with everything I had. But love isn't supposed to feel like this. Goodbye, Lena. She opened her mouth, but no words came. She didn't follow. She didn't call me back. I turned, walked out, and closed the door behind me. The night air hit my face, sharp and cold. I inhaled deeply and realized I was breathing again. The fire that had been smoldering inside me now felt alive, not anger, not despair, but clarity. I had chosen myself for the first time in years, and it felt like the beginning of something I could finally control. I wasn't sure what to expect when Sienna asked to meet me. The curiosity and maybe some lingering need to understand pushed me to say yes. We met at a small cafe in the late afternoon, sunlight cutting through the windows, but I barely noticed. When she walked in, I froze for a moment. Her eyes were red, her hands fidgeting with a coffee cup like it grounded her. You're Adrian, she said softly, her voice quiet, almost hesitant. That's me, I replied, studying her. She nodded, biting her lip. I'm Sienna. We sat across from each other, and for a long moment neither of us spoke. I could feel the weight of our combined heartbreak in the air. Finally, she broke the silence. I found them, she said, her voice trembling. The messages. Between Lena and Evan. I felt a familiar twist in my chest. You did? She nodded. I thought I was alone in this, but reading those words, seeing the truth, it hurt. More than I thought it would. I know, I said quietly, my hands wrapped around my mug. It's like everything you believed in just shatters in front of you. Sienna reached out, her fingers brushing against the edge of the table. Exactly. And no one prepares you for that. We talked for hours, and each sentence we shared felt effortless, like the world outside had vanished. I couldn't understand why he'd do this, I said, my voice low. I trusted him. I thought I knew people. Me too, Sienna whispered. I thought I knew him. I thought I had a life built on trust. And then, suddenly, none of it mattered to them. The way they acted, the lies, it's like everything I believed in was just smoke. Her honesty hit me hard. It's hard to describe how alone you feel, I said. Even when you're surrounded by people, it's like there's no one who actually sees the pain inside you. I understand, she said softly, eyes glistening. I see it in you. And it's not just empathy. I know what it's like to feel your heart ignored, to be left in pieces by someone who is supposed to love you. For the first time in weeks, I felt the knot in my chest loosen a little. I didn't expect to meet someone who gets it, I admitted. Not really, Sienna smiled faintly. They took our love for granted. That's on them, not us. Her words resonated in me like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. You're right, I said. I've been blaming myself, thinking I didn't do enough, didn't fight enough, but maybe it wasn't my fault at all, she nodded. It's hard, but the realization helps. You can't fix what they ruined, but you can protect yourself. You can choose what matters now. I looked at her, noticing the quiet strength in her eyes. You're strong, I said. Even after everything, you're still standing. That's inspiring. She laughed softly, a gentle, warm sound that felt like it belonged to someone real. I'm not invincible, she admitted. I'm just tired of letting people who don't deserve my love control my happiness. You shouldn't let them control yours either. I took a deep breath, letting her words sink in. Talking to you, it feels like a relief. Like I can breathe again without the weight pressing on me constantly. That's because you're not alone, she said simply. And neither am I. We're survivors of their choices, Adrian. That counts for something. Her words, simple yet true, hit a chord inside me. A strange warmth bloomed, subtle but undeniable, threading through the cold ache that had lived in my chest for weeks. I realized I cared for her not the way I had for Lena, not yet, but in a soft, cautious way that felt like the first step toward healing. We continued to talk, laugh faintly at moments, and share truths we had hidden from everyone else. Each sentence grounded me, made me feel alive in a way I hadn't felt since that night. Everything broke. When it was time to leave, I hesitated. Thank you, I said, my voice low. For seeing me, really seeing me. Sienna smiled softly. And thank you for trusting me enough to be seen. I walked out of the cafe feeling lighter, the heaviness in my chest easing just a little. For the first time since Lena, I realized maybe I could care for someone again without losing myself. Maybe there was a chance to rebuild. With someone who truly understood. My phone buzzed. For the third time that day, I saw Lena's name flash across the screen. I didn't answer. Not now, not ever. The sound of her voice still made something inside me ache, but I had chosen silence. I let the messages sit, unread. Emily called me later. Adrian, you need to hear this, she said, voice low, urgent. What is it? I asked cautiously. They're fighting, she said. Non-stop. Lena and Evan. It's a disaster. He refuses any kind of commitment. She feels used, humiliated. Their happy little world is collapsing. I exhaled slowly. I don't care what happens between them, I said quietly. I'm not going to get involved. I can't. I won't. Emily hesitated. I thought you'd want to know. It's almost karmic. You're not doing anything, and yet everything they built is falling apart. I smiled faintly despite myself. I didn't ask for this, Emily, but it's satisfying to watch consequences unfold naturally. Shh. She laughed softly. I never thought I'd hear you say that. They brought it on themselves, I said, running my fingers through my hair. And now I can finally breathe. Days passed. I avoided Lena's calls and texts, but Emily kept me updated. Lena quit her job, she said one evening. After arguing with Evan, she's spiraling. He's screwing over his work till his boss discovered he's been unethical for months. Everything's unraveling, piece by piece. I leaned back in my chair. I don't feel the thrill of revenge, I admitted. I feel peace. They can't hurt me anymore, and the universe seems to be handling them. Emily's voice softened. You're doing what you need, and you're not alone. Remember that. That night, I called Sienna. "Hey," she said softly. "Are you okay?" "I am," I said, though my voice shook slightly. "Better than I expected." "I'm glad," she replied. "I've been thinking about everything too. My dreams. The ones I abandoned for him. I'm finally facing them. It's hard, but talking to you helps. I feel lighter." "I feel the same," I admitted. "After everything, it's good to have someone to talk to. Someone who understands." Sienna laughed quietly. "We're not perfect, Adrian. Broken pieces don't fit together neatly. But maybe we can. Help each other mend." I swallowed hard. "I like that. I like it a lot." We spoke for hours, opening up about our fears, regrets, and the moments we thought we'd never heal from. Each word made the heaviness in my chest loosen. Like I was shedding old skin I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. Later, Emily called again. "They had another fight," she said. Evan stormed out. "Lena is crying. She doesn't know how to handle herself." And you know what I feel? Almost relieved. I laughed softly. It's strange, isn't it? I used to feel guilty for thinking that. But now I see it clearly. Their chaos is theirs, not mine. I've stepped away. And it's freeing. Emily hesitated. "And Sienna? How's she helping you?" "She listens," I said. "Truly listens. No judgment, just understanding." I never expected to feel comfort from someone connected to them in any way, but she's remarkable. Emily laughed softly. "I can see that. You deserve it, Adrian. Someone who sees the real you and doesn't run." "Yeah," I murmured. "I think I'm ready to let go of the past, really. To stop chasing what's lost, stop hurting for them. Karma is doing its work. I just need to rebuild myself." Emily's voice was warm. "And you're not alone. Remember that. You have people who care, who won't let you drown in it." "I know," I said quietly. "And for the first time, I believe it. I can finally breathe, watch them spiral, and focus on what matters. My life. My healing." I hung up and looked out the window at the quiet street. Somewhere down the line, Lena and Evan's chaos would consume them entirely, but I wouldn't be a part of it. Instead, I'd focus on Sienna, on rebuilding, on the fire growing inside Mia, fire fueled by clarity, strength, and the promise that my heart could finally be respected, not toyed with. For the first time in a long while, I felt at peace. The knock at my door startled me. I wasn't expecting anyone, least of all Lena. I opened it, and there she was, hair tangled, eyes red.
Ow.
Mascara streaked down her cheeks. "Adrian, please," she whispered, voice trembling. "I need you to hear me." I stepped back, letting her in reluctantly. "Lena," I said quietly, trying to steady my voice. "What are you doing here?" She fell to her knees, clutching my hands. "I made a mistake, Evan. He abandoned me. I need one last chance. Please, Adrian. Just one." I felt my chest tighten. Old pain rose like a tide I thought I had pushed back. My hands ached, but Sienna's voice echoed in my mind. "They took your love for granted. Protect yourself." I forced myself to breathe. "Lena," I said, pulling my hands away gently. "You didn't love me. You loved attention. You loved being chased, being desired, having someone at your feet whenever you wanted." Her lips trembled. "No, that's not true. I loved you. I made a mistake." "Stop," I interrupted. "I've heard enough of that line. Your tears don't change what you did. Your words don't erase months of lies, months of betrayal. You walked away when it suited you. You laughed at my heart, and now you show up thinking that apology is enough?" She sank onto the couch, shaking. I was selfish. I didn't understand what I had until it was gone. "Please, Adrian. Just let me prove myself." I shook my head slowly. "No, Lena, you can't prove yourself. Not to me. You had your chance, and you blew it." I'm not the same man you walked all over. I'm not the one who waits silently while you play with other people's hearts. Her hands reached for mine again. But I need you. I can't live without you. I took a deep breath, letting the clarity I had gained over the past weeks settle in. You see, that's the difference now. I feel nothing for your desperation. Your touch doesn't move me, and your tears don't pull me back. I'm done begging for your attention. I'm done hoping you'll realize what you lost while I suffered quietly. She looked at me, shock breaking through her grief. You don't care? I care about myself, I said firmly. About my life? About my healing. I've spent enough time chasing someone who never valued me. I've learned what love really is, Lena. And it's not this. Her body slumped. I thought I could fix it. I thought I could have you back. You can't, I said softly, though my voice carried strength. Not now. Not ever. I've moved on even if it hurts you to hear that. My heart isn't yours to break anymore. Her lips quivered. I don't understand. I just... You should, I interrupted gently. You should understand that some doors, once closed, are never opened again. And this door my heart was closed the moment you chose someone else over me. She stared at me, breathless, disbelief written across her face. You're not the man I knew. I'm not, I admitted, and I don't want to be. I've grown. I've learned. I've survived. And now, I'm free. Her knees hit the floor as she whispered, Adrian. I knelt beside her, placing a hand briefly on her shoulder. Goodbye, Lena. I hope someday you understand the cost of your choices. She didn't respond. Her eyes brimmed with tears, mouth opening, closing, words failing her. I stood, stepping back toward the door. I'm gone, I said, voice steady. Take care of yourself, but don't expect me to fix the mess you made. She watched silently as I walked out. The sound of the door closing behind me echoed like a final punctuation mark. Her sobs faded into the apartment behind me, but inside, I felt a strange calm. For the first time since the betrayal, I realized the truth fully. I had moved on. The pain, the longing, the emptiness, they were still there. But buried beneath a new strength, a fire that no one could touch. And for the first time, I walked away knowing I was choosing myself. Sienna became a constant part of my days, and I didn't even notice how quickly that happened. She would call just to check in or send a message with some thought she had during the day. You okay? She'd ask, and somehow it always mattered. Somehow, her voice made the weight in my chest lighter. One evening, we met at the park. The sun was setting, orange and pink stretching across the sky. I laughed at a story she told about Evan doing something stupid at work. She laughed too, and it was easy, natural. You always find a way to make me see the ridiculous side of things, I said. That's my job, she replied, grinning. Besides, someone needs to keep you from getting stuck in your own head all the time. I shook my head, smiling. You've done more than that. You've helped me heal. Her smile softened and her eyes glistened. We heal together, Adrian? That's the difference. I looked at her, the wind catching strands of her hair. You deserved better than the man who broke you. Sienna's eyes grew wet, but she laughed softly, a sound that made something flutter inside me. So did you, she said simply. I swallowed hard, feeling my heart race in a way it hadn't in months. You really mean that? I asked, voice low. I do, she said. I've seen you through the worst of it. You were loyal, you loved hard, and you survived the people who didn't deserve you. That counts for something. Her words hit me harder than I expected. I reached for her hand and she let me. Sienna, I stopped, unsure. The words felt too fragile, too heavy. But she squeezed my hand encouragingly. You can say it, she whispered. I care about you, I admitted, finally. More than I should. Not out of revenge, not because I'm hurt or because of Lena or Evan. I care because you're you. Because you see me. You understand me? And for the first time in a long time, I feel warmth instead of pain. She looked at me, teary-eyed, but smiling. Adrian, I feel the same way. I wasn't looking for someone new. I wasn't looking for anything, honestly. But being with you, it feels right. It feels real. I didn't expect it, but I can't deny it. I laughed softly, a little breathless. Neither did I. I thought my heart was still broken. I thought it would always be guarded, locked away. But with you, I feel like maybe it's safe to open it again. Sienna's smile widened, and she leaned closer. It is safe. I'm not going anywhere, Adrian. Not unless you want me to. I don't, I said immediately. I've been through enough to know when something real is in front of me. And this? U.S. It's real. Her hand found mine again, fingers entwining with mine naturally. I'm glad you see it too, she said softly. Because I've waited a long time to find someone who treats me like this, who sees me for who I am, not for what I can give them. You've been strong through everything, I said. And now I see it clearly. You don't need someone to save you. You're already remarkable. I just get to be here, seeing it. Sienna's head tilted slightly, tears spilling over, but happiness shining through. And I get to see you. Seeing the man you're meant to be. Not the one who got hurt by someone else. Not the one tied to their mistakes. Just you. I felt something shift completely inside me. No bitterness, no lingering pain. Just this moment, this warmth. I think I've been waiting for this without knowing it. Someone who isn't a reminder of betrayal, but a reason to hope again. She laughed softly, leaning closer. Me too. Someone who understands the scars but still wants to be near them. Someone who doesn't run. I squeezed her hand, my voice low but steady. Then let's not run. Let's not hide. Let's see where this goes, together. Her smile lit up her entire face, and I felt my chest loosen completely. Together, she agreed, and in that moment, I realized I'd never known a warmth like this before. Something real, something I didn't know I needed, but couldn't imagine living without now. For the first time since Lena, I felt like love wasn't pain. Love could be gentle, patient, and honest. Love could be us. Emily called me one afternoon, her voice hesitant but urgent. Adrian, I think you need to hear this, she said. What is it? I asked, leaning back in my chair. Evan lost his job, she said softly. His boss discovered everything's the unethical deals, the lies. He's finished. And Lena? She's moved back to her parents after everyone rejected her. They're alone, Adrian. Their choices finally caught up with them. I let out a long breath, feeling a strange mix of relief and detachment. I don't feel satisfaction, I admitted. Just peace. They can't touch me anymore. Not ever. Emily laughed quietly. I expected you to be angry, but this calm is better. You finally stepped away. I think so, I said, and I'm done looking back. I'm done letting them control my life from a distance. Later that week, Sienna and I met at the coffee shop. She slid into the seat across from me, smiling warmly. So, how's the man who survived betrayal doing? Better than expected, I said, smiling back. I've been thinking. Maybe it's time to stop surviving and start living. The business I've always dreamed of. Think I'm ready to take the leap. Sienna's eyes lit up. That's amazing. You've been holding back too long. I know you'll make it work. You have the talent, the vision, and now the drive. Her encouragement felt like a spark. It's scary, you know? Taking that first step after everything. Of course it is, she said. But fear doesn't last forever. Courage does. And you're brave, Adrian. I laughed softly. You make it sound so easy. Because I believe in you, she said simply. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here every step, cheering you on. A few days later, Marcus called. Hey man, I hear you're finally doing something for yourself. Proud of you. Thanks, I said. I don't think I could have done this without everyone. You, Claire, Sienna, even Emily. I'm just glad you're standing on new ground, Marcus said. You're not drowning in the past anymore. You're building a future. Claire dropped by the next afternoon, arms crossed but smiling. You look lighter, happier, not angry, not hurt, just alive. I am, I said. It took letting go of what I couldn't control and learning to focus on what matters now. Good, she said, nodding. It's about time you put yourself first. You've earned this, Adrian. That evening, Sienna and I walked through the park, the sun dipping behind the trees. I love seeing you like this, she said softly. Focused, hopeful, ready to take the world on. You've changed a lot for me too, I said. Your presence, your understanding. It's made me realize what real support feels like. Not just empty words or pity, but someone who sees me and encourages me to grow. Sienna reached for my hand. That's what love should be, she said. Mutual, honest, building each other up instead of tearing down. I nodded, feeling the warmth settle in my chest. I've learned that now with you. With the people who stayed, who cared, I feel like I can do anything. Start over. Dream bigger, Emily called again, her voice lighter this time. Adrian, I'm sorry for everything. I'm finally making changes in my life, trying to be better. Thank you for being patient with me, and thank you for being honest, I said. And I'm proud you're taking steps. It's never too late to fix your path. Days turned into weeks, and I found myself immersed in planning, creating, dreaming. Marcus checked in often, Claire stopped by to offer advice, and Sienna. Sienna became my anchor, my confidant, my inspiration. One night, sitting in my apartment with Sienna beside me, I realized I wasn't haunted by past pain anymore. I wasn't defined by betrayal, by loss, by heartbreak. Instead, I was building something real, a life I could be proud of. With her hand in mine and the people who truly mattered surrounding me, I felt unstoppable. Their chaos had faded into the background. My world wasn't just surviving anymore. It was thriving. And for the first time in years, I smiled. Knowing everything I had lost had brought me to exactly where I needed to be. The mornings felt different now. I woke up not to dread or a knot in my chest, but to quiet sunlight spilling across the room. Sienna was beside me, soft breathing, her hand finding mine naturally. Morning, she whispered, eyes still half closed. Morning, I said, squeezing her hand gently. Sleep well? Better than I have in months, she replied, smiling. Feels safe here. With you. I smiled back, warmth spreading through me. It should feel safe. We've earned this. Our life had settled into a rhythm I never imagined possible after everything. The business I started with Sienna's encouragement was stable now. Orders came in, clients trusted me, and every success reminded me I wasn't defined by the past. You did it, Adrian, she said one afternoon as I reviewed contracts. You built something real. You didn't let the pain destroy you. I couldn't have done it alone, I admitted. You, Marcus, Claire, even Emily. They all helped me see there was more to life than hurt. Sienna laughed softly. I think we helped each other. You pulled me through more than you realize. Some days my phone buzzed with messages from Lena, Adrian. I'm sorry. I didn't understand. I miss you. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I didn't hate her, but I wasn't going back into that darkness. My heart had grown strong enough to stay out of it. Evan tried reaching Sienna too. A text appeared one morning. Sienna, we need to talk. She laughed lightly, showing me. He really doesn't get it, does he? Nope, I said, shaking my head. Let him learn the hard way. You've earned peace too, Sienna. No one can take that from you. She nodded, eyes soft but resolute. Exactly. I won't even open the door to him. He doesn't deserve my time or my heart. Our evenings became quiet moments of togetherness. Cooking meals, talking about our dreams, planning small trips, laughing at silly things. Sometimes I caught myself staring at her, amazed. I never thought I'd find this, I said one night. Someone who makes me feel steady, hopeful, and alive all at once. Sienna leaned against me. It's because we've both survived. We know what matters now. We don't waste time on the people who hurt us or the past we can't change. One weekend, we drove to a hill just outside the city. The wind tugged at our clothes, the horizon stretching wide, golden with sunset. I felt my chest rise and fall with ease. No panic, no heartache, just the quiet strength of living. Sienna squeezed my hand. Look at this view. Feels like we've climbed so far, hasn't it? I nodded, taking it all in. It's incredible. And not just the view. This, everything, us, life. I finally feel free. She looked at me, eyes glimmering in the fading light. We found love after losing everything. I swallowed hard, feeling a deep calm settle inside me. Yes, after the betrayal, the heartbreak, the chaos, we built something real, something steady, something that can last. She leaned closer, resting her head on my shoulder. I couldn't have imagined this a year ago, but now it feels like it was always meant to be. I held her tightly. Me neither. I was so lost, so broken, but we rebuilt. Not out of revenge or pain, but because we chose each other. Every day, consciously. Sienna smiled up at me. And that's why it works. Because it's real. I exhaled slowly, letting the past wash away like distant waves. Lena and Evan, the heartbreak, the nights of crying alone, they were shadows I had left behind. My heart wasn't tied to their mistakes anymore. I wasn't a prisoner of lost love or betrayal. I was free. I love you, I whispered, and her fingers tightened around mine. I love you too, she said softly, voice steady and warm. For the first time since it all began. My heart felt steady, strong, certain. I had faced the worst, survived the betrayal, watched karma unfold naturally, and now I was building a life I could be proud of. I had earned this peace, and I chose it. Standing there with Sienna, the wind brushing our faces, I realized the truth fully. Freedom didn't come from forgetting the past, but from choosing not to let it control me anymore, and with her beside me I would never look back. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of hope, and I finally felt the weight lift entirely.